Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We are streaming, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, welcome everyone to the August 18th meeting of the Middleton Common Council. We'll call this meeting to order and start with a roll call.
Alder Schaefer,
Present.
Alder Madden,
Present.
Alder Baines,
Present.
Mayor Heniro,
Here.
Alder Nelson,
Here.
Alder Myers,
Present.
Alder Opitz,
Present.
Alder Lorman.
Here.
Alder Crow.
Here.
All right. Next is the council reminders from the council president. Madam President, do you have any reminders for us?
Just one that will sound familiar, but we all have our own expertise. We all have awesome ideas. Just a reminder, if you have ideas, please run them through Brian and not to go to staff to have them take care of runoff project or one-off projects. So if you have a new idea of something you'd like to see implemented, please go through Brian, Administrator Brian Gatto, and don't expect every idea to be automatically implemented, but I know we have a lot of ideas and a lot of cool stuff that we can do. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And if I could add to that, I would also ask all the alders, and you're our representative on every committee, commission, and board that we have, to please, at the next meeting you attend, mention this to your fellow committee members, because this has turned into something occasionally where members will direct staff to do something that takes them away from the things they're already tasked with doing. So just, again, since you're the council's eyes and ears on all these committees, commissions, and boards, please remind your fellow members that that's the case. Everything needs to go through Brian. Okay, moving on to public comments. Do we have any?
I have two. The first one will be Alder Baines, and he is speaking on behalf of a constituent.
Yes, Richard Lemon at 2519 Middleton Beach Road asked me to read his letter into the record here. To the Middleton Common Council, I understand there has been a proposed change in the wording of the TIF district encompassing Middleton Municipal Airport, Maury Field, that would exclude the airport from TIF financing. I feel very strongly that TIF funding needs to be an option for financing future maintenance and improvement projects at Middleton Municipal Airport. This airport was built in part by the city using TIF funding to pay a portion of the improvement projects. Without TIF funding, the city may lose a huge amount of federal funds. Thank you for your consideration, Richard Lemon.
Thank you, Alder Baines. I received a call from Cara Randall, also wanting to just note her vote against leaving the airport out of the new TID. And I believe we have a collection of emails that we received, and I think we are able to just accept those into the record without reading them tonight. If that's true, Administrator Gatto.
Yeah, it's my understanding we can accept the email comments that have been received tonight. We can add them as an appendix to the minutes for tonight's meeting.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else here this evening who would like to speak? Mr. Maury.
All right, is this on and can you hear me?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. Thank you for letting me speak with you tonight. My name is Richard Maury. I live in Waunakee, 701 Country Air Court. I am, as you probably know, the airport manager of the Middleton Municipal Airport, Maury Field, a position I've held since 2003. Although I currently live in Waunakee, I grew up in Middleton, graduating from Middleton High School in '76, working at the airport starting in 1974. Quite literally, I grew up in the Middleton Municipal Airport, Maury Field. As airport manager, I too feel strongly that TIF funding is needed to be an option for financing future maintenance and improvement projects, specifically the eventual reconstruction of the ramp, taxiways, and runways. The city's share of the improvement project, as Dr. Lemon mentioned, which finished in 2004, was paid for by TIF funding. And that could have been as little as 5% of the entire project, depending on the funding level from federal and state. So eliminating TIF as a funding source for future projects, reconstruction projects specifically, reduces the city's options. I'm asking that the original language as recommended for the, I'm assuming that TIF, or Tax Incremental District 7 or TID 7 be restored to allow potential use, not necessarily would happen, but potential use of TIF funding for future maintenance projects.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak this evening? Anyone online? Oh.
Dave.
Yeah, Alder Lorman?
Yeah, I've been asked by people who did submit these letters that they be read aloud during the public comment period. If there's no prohibition to that, I would like to do that.
Alder Lorman, I appreciate that, and I understand that Mr. Maury, when he asked tenants at the airport to contact council about that, he recommended that they ask to have their comments read into the record. I would say, given the number of people we have in this room tonight for the proclamations, and given the fact that we will have a long discussion of these two resolutions regarding TIDs, I would request that we hold off on doing that. I really don't want to set a precedent of us devoting a significant amount of the time that we have for business to reading letters, many of which are identical to what we have already heard, reading those into the record.
I guess what I would say is that some of these aren't identical, and if we're denying these people public comment in that sense, then so be it.
I'm
Let
not
it go on the
denying
record.
any, excuse me, I'm not denying anyone the opportunity to make a public comment. I'm simply asking that we hold off on any recitation of these letters until after we get through the proclamation, so that all the folks in the room don't have to be here while that's going on.
Okay,
Is that acceptable?
that is.
All right, thank you. Okay, is there anybody else on Zoom who has a comment? Not, I'm passing something down to Alder Crow. The next item on our agenda is proclamations. The first one is a proclamation honoring Carl Tice for a lifetime of public service and for 50 years of active service with the Middleton Fire District.
Whereas on July 12th, 2026, Carl Tice achieved an extraordinary milestone by becoming the first member in the history of the Middleton Fire District to reach 50 years of active service. And whereas this historic achievement represents a lifetime of dedication, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to the people of Middleton and to the profession of firefighting. And whereas at the age of 22, Carl followed in his father's footsteps by joining the Middleton Fire District, an act that inspired his brothers to join as well, creating a family legacy of service that has benefited the community for generations. And whereas 50 years of service is more than a milestone, it demonstrates Carl's courage, compassion, and the values he embodies every day, putting community before self, answering the call to help others, and making Middleton a better place for everyone. And whereas as a loving husband, father, grandfather, and the cherished patriarch of the Tice family, Carl's greatest joy is spending time with his grandchildren, sharing stories, laughter, and memories. His kindness, humility, and quick smile have touched everyone fortunate enough to know him.
Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Lisa Hanairo, together with the Middleton Common Council, congratulate Carl Tice on his historic accomplishment of 50 years of active service with the Middleton Fire District. And be it further resolved that we are deeply grateful to Carl for embodying the good neighbor spirit by devoting so much of his life to this community. And we hope his legacy will inspire future generations of firefighters for years to come. Is there a motion?
This is Alder Crow. I'll make the motion to accept this proclamation for Carl Tice.
Is there a second?
Second. Opens.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving this proclamation honoring Carl Tice for a lifetime of public service and for 50 years of active service with the Middleton Fire District signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. We can get a picture with your family too. You should get the whole.
Maybe have just. Right. That's right. 1, 2.
Thank you. Come to the podium and say a few words.
I would
please.
just like to thank the chief and all our firefighters that I've worked with over the years. Been a pleasure. And talking and thanking my wife and my family. Talking to a firefighter, he says, your wife was on just as long as you were. And I said, so she should get this next year. No. So, and my brothers, and I just want to thank everybody for the support I've had.
Okay. All right, our next proclamation is recognizing Eagle Scout candidate Josh Gustafson and BSA Troop 140 for outstanding community service. And Alder John Schaefer will read this one.
Thank you. As both an Eagle Scout myself and an ex-assistant Scoutmaster of 140, it's a pleasure to do this. Whereas the city of Middleton is fortunate to have residents and community organizations dedicated to service helps preserve and enhance the parks, trails, and natural spaces that make our community an exceptional place to live, work, and recreate. And whereas Eagle Scout service projects exemplify the highest ideals of leadership, planning, volunteerism, and community stewardship by providing lasting improvements that benefit the public for generations. And whereas Eagle Scout candidate Josh Gustafson, with the support of Scout BSA Troop 140, fellow scouts from other local troops, family members, and volunteers led the reconstruction of the historic Clark Street stairs, providing safe and improved access to the Pheasant Branch Creek corridor. And whereas the project brought together 6 adult volunteers, 9 scouts from Troop 140, and additional Middleton area youth who contributed their time and talents over 2 half days and 2 full days to complete this significant community improvement. And whereas the reconstruction honors the legacy of the original stairway, which was originally constructed in 2002 through the efforts of Michael Peterson and Eagle Scout Troop 420, and a new sign will commemorate both the original construction and the 2026 reconstruction. And whereas the successful completion of this project was made possible through the collaboration of many community members, including City Park staff member Kurtz Meinholz, who assisted with planning, materials, and equipment, and project advisor Ross Michaels, whose guidance in surveying and projecting the project plan helped ensure the project's success. And whereas this project reflects the values of citizenship, teamwork, environmental stewardship, and service above self, while creating a lasting benefit for residents and visitors who enjoy the Pheasant Branch Creek corridor. And whereas the city of Middleton is proud to recognize the leadership of Josh Gustafson and the dedication of everyone who contributed their time and effort to this meaningful project.
Now therefore be it resolved that I, Lisa Haniro, Mayor of the City of Middleton, Wisconsin, together with the Common Council, do hereby recognize and commend Eagle Scout candidate Josh Gustafson, Scouts BSA Troop 140, and all project volunteers for their outstanding service to the City of Middleton, and extend our sincere appreciation for their commitment to improving our community for current and future generations. Is there a motion?
I move approval of the proclamation.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Is Josh here by any chance? Well, let's give Josh a round of applause. All right, our next proclamation is celebrating Patrick Williams for 40 years of public service to the city of Middleton. And reading it tonight will be Jocelyn Sansing.
Good evening. Whereas Patrick Williams began his career at the Middleton Public Library 40 years ago as a page and has since dedicated his entire professional life to serving the residents of Middleton through the library, growing to become the library's head of information technology. And whereas in the 4 decades of Patrick's service, the field of public libraries has been transformed by extraordinary technological change, including the transformation from library card catalogs to online access catalogs, integrated library systems, the birth and growth of the World Wide Web, the shift from dial-up connections to broadband and wireless networks, the rise of personal computers and public computer labs, the digitization of newspapers, photographs, and historical archives, the advent of the self-checkout and RFID technology, the emergence of ebooks, downloadable audiobooks, and streaming media, the growth of digital databases and online research tools, and the development of makerspaces, 3D printing, and other emerging technologies now found in public libraries. And whereas Patrick Williams has personally responsible for bringing internet access to the Middleton Public Library and through it to the greater Middleton community, opening a gateway to information, opportunity, and connection for generations of residents. And whereas throughout his career, Patrick has demonstrated a rare and enduring talent for building and implementing new technology while listening closely to how patrons and staff actually use it, ensuring the innovation at the library has always served the needs of the community first. And whereas Patrick's vision, technical expertise, and steady leadership have kept the Middleton Public Library at the forefront of technological service among Wisconsin's public libraries, positioning the library to meet the needs of a rapidly changing digital world. And whereas Patrick's contributions reflect the very best of public library service, a career built on adaptability, curiosity, and an unwavering commitment to the community he serves.
Now therefore be it resolved that I, Lisa Haniro, Mayor of the City of Middleton, Wisconsin, together with the Common Council and the entire Middleton community, do hereby recognize and celebrate Patrick Williams for 40 years of dedicated public service to the City of Middleton and the Middleton Public Library, and extend our sincere appreciation for his extraordinary contributions to our community. Is there a motion?
This is Alder Crowe. I make a motion to approve this proclamation.
Is there a second?
Myers, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the proclamation celebrating Patrick Williams for 40 years of public service to the city of Middleton signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Is Patrick here?
Patrick is not here tonight. He will be presented with this tomorrow back at the library.
Okay, I will sign it. Leave it with Brian and I will
Wonderful.
sign it.
Thank you so much for your time this
Thank
evening.
you so much. All right, our last proclamation is celebrating National Immunization Awareness Month in Middleton. And I'll read this one. Whereas the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention declared vaccines to be the greatest public health intervention of the 20th century, second only to clean water. And whereas thanks to vaccines, diseases such as polio and rubella have been eliminated in the United States, smallpox has been eradicated worldwide, and it's possible to prevent cancers caused by hepatitis B and human papillomavirus. And whereas while many diseases are effectively and safely controlled by immunization, These illnesses still exist, and when vaccination rates in a community drop, outbreaks occur, with unvaccinated individuals especially at risk of contracting serious and potentially debilitating illnesses. And whereas southwestern Wisconsin is experiencing an outbreak of measles, with the Wisconsin Department of Health Services confirming 15 cases in Iowa and Lafayette counties as of August 13th, with another 6 probable cases yet to be confirmed through testing. And whereas, according to the CDC, to achieve the full potential of vaccines, parents must recognize vaccines as a means of mobilizing the body's natural defenses and be better prepared to seek vaccinations for their children. And whereas the dissemination of misinformation about vaccine safety is a significant public health risk, with low vaccination rates in communities putting the health of infants, young children, seniors, individuals with immunodeficiency disorders or compromised immune systems, and the public at risk. And whereas scientific and medical experts overwhelmingly agree that vaccines, including routine childhood and adult vaccines, are effective and safe, and they protect individuals from contracting preventable diseases. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Lisa Hanairo, together with the Middleton Common Council, declare August 2026 to be National Immunization Awareness Month in Middleton. And be it further resolved that we strongly encourage all our residents to trust science and get vaccinated regularly to help keep themselves, their family members, friends, and our communities safe. Is there a motion?
This is Nelson. I will move approval.
Schaefer will second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the proclamation celebrating National Immunization Awareness Month in Middleton signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. We will invite our guests, if they would like to stay, you may, but if you would like to get on with your evening, you're welcome to do so. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you for coming.
Thank you.
I have a motion prior to the consent agenda that I'd like to make, if you'll recognize me.
I don't know.
When everyone's cleared out, but
Okay.
I promise it's germane.
We have a presentation coming next.
Oh, okay.
Can it wait till after
Yep.
that?
Yeah, it can.
Okay. Okay. Did we lose? Oh, there's Jeff. Okay. All right, the next item on our agenda. We can get it queued up while our audience is leaving. It's a presentation by Jeff Maloney on the proposed City of Middleton tax increment districts number 7 and 8. Jeff, take it away.
Thank you. Brian, do you have that?
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm Jeff Maloney, principal with Vanderwall and Associates. You've probably seen me for the last couple of months throughout this process. We're here to talk about TID 7 and 8 and hopefully get a council resolution. The next step would be then to go back to the Joint Review Board, which I'll explain in this presentation. So we're in the middle of adoption. The first step was the Joint Review Board organizational meeting, which occurred on July 28th. And at that meeting, legally, all you're required to do is confirm a chair and adopt a final meeting date, but we provided the draft plans at that meeting. It's just nice for the other taxing jurisdictions to know what's coming. So we presented that in the morning. Later that night, we came here for Plan Commission, had a public hearing on the draft plans. There was a few comments on TID 7 and 0 comments on TID 8. Just as a reminder, TID 7 is essentially the area of TID 3. So it includes the downtown, part of Discovery Drive area, and then areas west of Highway 12, which essentially didn't develop in TID 3. And then TID 8 is the University Avenue area between Mayflower and Allen Boulevard. Both of these are blighted TIF districts, so they're not mixed-use TIF districts. Since there's existing development on the site, provides an opportunity to look at this as a blighted district. The requirement is not less than 50% needs to be declared blighted, and there's statutory definition of blight. What that does is it allows you to have a little bit longer period to encourage redevelopment, which typically takes longer than greenfield development. So we have a 27-year life of the TID and 22 years of project expenditures. So what is blight? We talked about this at the public hearing. When you say that word, it has, negative connotations. You think of a building, you can think of dilapidated, deteriorated, age or obsolescence. This is all the statutory definition. There's not many of those in your community, which is good because you've been actively redeveloping for 30, 40 years. But there's also planning blight. So some of those at the end of the list there. Obsolete platting might be sites that are hard to develop without further subdividing. Diversity of ownership, where one property owner may own a large portion of your community. And then areas that impact sound community growth. So those are really tied to your future land use map and your zoning. And that's what a lot of the blight determination was. So every community, a DOR requires not less than 12% of your equalized value be within TIF districts. So right now your equalized value, and these are 25 numbers. After this process is completed, we'll actually update the 26 numbers for a separate form that goes to the Department of Revenue. But it'll change a little bit, but you're well under the 12% test. You're at about 7%. The detail of this chart is that you have, about $700 million of increment to work with to stay under 12%. And this district, as you remember during our work sessions, both 7 and 8 overlap with your existing TID 5. So what that does is anything that's in TID 5 will now become in 7 and 8, and that new base value will freeze as 2026. So any previous base value does not matter for this test because you don't want to double count it. But that value will still go into that district. So it's a little bit complicated, but that's the way it's calculated. So first I'll go over TID 7, then we'll proceed to TID 8. The next slide shows I did want to go to changes before I got to the map. You can go with it. Thank you. So right away, I just wanted to mention the comments that we received before we get into the details of the plan. There's a few public comments. Number one, we added 2 new parcels. They were requested by a citizen. Those are parcels 118 and 119. Those are on the north side of the public parking lot, north side of the building here. So we included those in the next draft project plan. The second comment was the Conservancy lands, that's area on Terrace Avenue, that Conservancy portion. It was requested by citizens to further define that area in the Conservancy lands plan, referring to the figure and page number, just so it was clear what area we were talking about, which would be public improvements eligible in the plan for that area. Number 4 is a public comment. One of the citizens requested on a parcel to remove impedes community growth from the blight study. That future land use category for that parcel was actually established neighborhood, and I mistakenly thought it was downtown mixed use. So because of that, it doesn't really impede community growth. It's a single family home, which is what it's planned to be in the future. So we removed that, which was a good finding by that citizen. And then the number 3 there was a comment by Plan Commission specifying airport improvements to be consistent with the airport master plan, comprehensive plan, including stormwater and sustainability features. So that's not verbatim, but we have the TIF project plan in there. TID 7 boundary, so now includes 119 parcels, about 242 acres. Again, it's the downtown and area west of 12, and then Discovery Drive area, which is a new area for this district that was not completely included in 3 and partially included in 5. This is just a zoom of the downtown area. You can better see parcels 118 and 119. They're above 107, 108, which is the city hall they're on. They're adjacent to the parking lot, and the Plan Commission thought there might be opportunities for future redevelopment and agreed with the citizen. The half-mile buffer, which is important, as you remember, when you're looking at a TIF project plan, public expenditures can occur within a half-mile of the boundary of the district. But what we need to do is include them specifically in there. So any expenditure, you can't just say like roadway improvements. You'd have to actually list the road or be more specific. So we included those in the project plan, and any project that has an asterisk on it is eligible, proposed to be TIF eligible within the half mile. This map shows the overlay with TID 5. The red boundary is TID 5 and the purple is TID 7. So the shaded area that's red is the area that overlaps. So that's the parcels that will be removed from 5 and put into 7. The blight determination study, anything red was determined blight by that statutory definition. So much of it, again, wasn't because of the condition of the property, maybe some things with parking lots and landscaping. It's a broad definition. Many of it was more planning related and opportunities for higher and better uses. The green areas were determined to be not blighted. Much of that area is conservancy. But again, Middleton has historically kept the conservancy in the TID 3/7 area because of its importance for both stormwater management improvements, quality of life, business attraction, commuters through the bike and ped connections, and business retention and employee retention. So we presented these in Finance Committee, and what we do is we look at all of those areas that are in the TID 7 and apply different densities, floor area ratios, and all these planning fun things based on your zoning and future land use map, and determine potential development that could occur on all those parcels. And then we distribute that across 27 years. We take our best guess about when we think those would occur. And as I mentioned a few times in the past, all the development deals we're seeing right now, developers want to see as much time as possible on that district to provide additional time to repay back any potential TIF grants that are provided or TIF loans. So a lot of this development is pushed up to the beginning of the district. It's typically aggressive, but Middleton is one of the best markets in southern Wisconsin. So I think that it makes sense to me as a planner. Some other distributions you might see in other project plans might be a little bit more equally balanced. So if all those properties were to develop, that's about $500 million of new development in today's dollars. When you take that and project the existing tax rate, it provides about on the next slide, provides 176 million of new taxable increment. So that's a potential value that could come into TID 7. And then what we need to do to show to the Joint Review Board and to citizens is that any project plans that are TIF eligible, which would still require Plan Commission, Council, Finance Committee approval, any project plan could be paid for back by that increment that's coming in. So on the next slide, we look at what potential projects could be eligible for future consideration of using TIF funds. And so those are based in a few different categories: infrastructure, capital costs. So you have roadways, intersections, the conservancy, railroad corridor, different public spaces. Also real estate acquisition. So leaving some funds in there for the city to actually potentially acquire a property, maybe for public parking, planning, administrative, professional services, contributions to CDA. And then there is a finance charge and interest projection in the model, which we can talk about in a second. And then leaving a placeholder for potential donations to future TIDs if the district is cash flowing in the future. That could be an opportunity if you have a new blighted district in the future. Any of those numbers can move in between those categories, but you can't spend more than 169 million over the life of the TID without doing an amendment. And then if we do the amendment, you have to prove that you have additional increment to cover that. So here's the project locations on a map. I won't go into detail, but it's all those projects you just saw on the last chart, including downtown improvements, the Greenway, all the way up to the airport. So then again, just like the development projections, we need to take those expenditures and project those out across the life of the TID over those 27 years. So we took our best guess at putting all the capital improvements in infrastructure, doing a prorated portion of the potential increment that's coming in for any development agreements, and projecting that out for the 27 years. And with the goal of then taking that into the next slide, which is the cash flow analysis. And at the end of the district, if everything were to develop and all those projects were to occur, which we know they won't, but we have to project a model that's feasible, we'd still have 6.5 million left over at the closure to redistribute to the taxing jurisdictions. Now, when we projected out those capital costs, there were a lot of years that had some negative balances. So we worked with with Bill Burns, your finance director, to look at a couple of placeholders to put into this model to help with positive cash flow yearly. The first one was in the third column, I guess, at the top left corner. There are 1.1 million of a potential cash advance. That could be from TIF 5 or any intergovernmental loan, any governmental fund loan. And then a potential borrowing of placeholder 10 million, just showing that if in the future council wanted to do a borrowing, you could take that, you could get that amount and then also pay back the interest. This is not going out to bond, it's just a model, just to show that it's feasible. So that pays back, even if you don't do that borrowing, you'd still have the same cash flow at the end of the district. It just helps yearly. Should I continue on to date?
Yes,
Okay.
please do.
So again, the reminder, TID 8 is on University Avenue. This one's a little bit smaller, 69 parcels and 38 acres. Historically, the auto-oriented commercial areas of University Avenue, and you've already started to see some changes in that district. The half mile extends out all the way up to the Conservancy up by past Lakeview Park, all the way south down to Tiedemann Pond. This is the overlay map. So the overlay map, again, if you remember, if you're around for the last TID 5 amendment, we amended that to come around to get to University Avenue, knowing that development was coming there and hadn't really in the last 10 years or so, but we could feel it coming up the corridor. This again is the overlap area, so the shaded area, and that will be taken out of TID 5 and put into TID 8. The blight study, it's a lot of red. The only thing left that we didn't see potential for redevelopment of these boundaries is the new Napa Auto Parts, which is the green area. But over 27 years, that might redevelop too. Development assumptions, again, projected out. These are about $221 million of increment as potential. And what we did, that area is all mixed use, but we did make an assumption that only about 30% of that mixed use will go into commercial, because your Avenue commercial allows for, or does not require mixed use in the whole zoning district, but just at intersections. So we didn't want to over project. Take the 200 million and apply today's tax rate to it. You have about 83 million of projected tax increment coming into the district over the life. And then again, we'll look at the projects on the next slide, which include essentially anything in the University Avenue plan. So safety improvements, streetscape improvements, a lot of crossings, bike ped infrastructure. And then Branch Street, Allen Street. I don't know if anything's planned there, but we put those as potential improvements in the future. Parking, potential entrance to the park, which serves this district. Again, Pheasant Branch Conservancy corridor potential. Relocation, development incentives, planning, professional services, and then potential donation at the end, and then potential advance, leaving a placeholder of $500,000, which might help with projections early in the district. So the next slide we took, project location, sorry. Anything that has like a red dot you kind of see there, those are the areas that are in the half mile. So some of the crossings that extend west of the district really connect the two, 7 and 8 now. Those crossings are important for people who want to walk back and forth on University Avenue. Roadway improvements to Mendota, Allen, Branch, those extend out, but they do serve the district. And then any of the green dots are the areas that are within the TID district itself. Projected expenses again throughout the district, and those are pretty much distributed out across the first 22 years. 27, there's one expenditure of just a potential donation at the end of the district. And then if you look at the cash flow analysis, very similar to the last one, on the next slide. But it does not show any potential need for a bond because cash flow is pretty good, even as is, because there's less projects essentially, less public improvement projects. And so at the end of this district, if everything were to develop and everything were to be implemented, it's 9.6 million left at the end of closure. So, I think it's very healthy cash flow for both of those districts. TID 8 didn't have any public comments. The next step in the approval process if we have resolution tonight, but then actually to go back to the joint review board. Because unlike most planning documents or most city processes, joint review board, which is all the taxing jurisdictions, has the final approval.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Stay there, please. We'll entertain clarifying questions now. Anybody? Alder Opitz?
I have a couple of questions. If you could pull up the map for TID 5, please, or TID 7, excuse me.
It took me a long time to not say TID 4.
Right.
or TID
I actually
3.
wrote it down as 5,
Yeah.
then I changed it to 7. My question has to do with the definition of blight, and I only thought of this idea as you were giving your presentation. The Deming Way, the 2 parcels on Deming Way at Airport Road that have been within the runway, north-south crosswind runway protection zone. It's my understanding the city is making payments monthly, right, Brian and Mr. Agatto? Why are those payments? Because of the encumbrance on those. So why is that encumbrance not considered blight?
4 and 5.
Lots 3 and 4, I think it is, unless I couldn't see the numbers. Maybe it's 4 and 5.
Well, if they can't develop, then yeah, that would be considered blighted, but then we also would probably want to take out the development projection.
Didn't the FAA finally approve our moving of the runway protection zone north?
So that's no longer considered a blight, but we're making a payment. And so that doesn't have any bearing on the definition of blight.
The payments are under a contract that will cease at a date certain, but in the meantime, the FAA did earlier this year approve the ALP, which removed the RPZ restriction off those 2 parcels.
Oh, okay. I did not know.
And
that.
actually one's developing now.
Okay, I did not know that. All right, cool. And then the other question I have is same area here. If the municipal boundary were to change anywhere within the half-mile limit, can I assume, is it safe to assume that the newly annexed land would automatically be eligible for TIF funding if it's, as long as it's within half a mile? Or does this map have to be amended as well?
Well, if it's in a half mile, you have to specifically indicate what the project would be, the public improvement project. So then you would probably need an amendment.
And if I can add to that, we'd need to amend it to add parcels as well, correct? If we expanded.
Well, if you wanted to add parcels, you definitely need to do an amendment. Yeah, you'd have 4 amendment opportunities through the life of the TID if you change the boundary.
Okay.
So the changing of the, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I just was
The
trying to-
adjustment of the municipal boundary through annexation does not automatically lead to eligibility for a project that's identified in the project plan that is within half a mile because of, by virtue of being annexed. That doesn't automatically happen.
Well, it wouldn't automatically happen. It would have to be identified in the plan, and we don't identify anything outside of the municipal boundary now.
Go ahead.
If there was like a roadway, like Airport Road on this map, extended out to the west, I know that's not gonna happen, but that's indicated as a project in the
Right.
TIF project plan,
Yeah.
so I mean, we could ask DOR, it might be eligible then, since it's already in the project plan, but if it was a new project, it wouldn't be.
I mean, I think you wouldn't have to, I mean, the half mile is the half mile. I think the key is you would have to have a project identified
Understood.
for that area, but I mean, I think by operation of law, if we are restricting that half mile right now solely because of the municipal boundary and that expands, there's really nothing in the statutory language that suggests
Precludes it.
that needs to change, but
Right.
again, you need to actually have a project identified for it, so.
You're giving the answer that I thought you would, but I just was curious if that was the answer. So thank you.
Any further clarifying questions? Right. Go ahead, Alder Dorman.
Yeah, so getting back to on July 28th during the Plan Commission meeting, there were some redactions made from section 5B, paragraph 8 regarding the airport and specifically removing the runway and taxiway, or call it aircraft movement areas. And just in talking to you now, you're saying that that's not a problem, or it is a problem, or it's irrelevant? Because we're getting people that are saying, include that back in.
May I
Well,
ask, may I ask Brian to bring up the current language? And thank you for asking this question because I was going to ask whether it is the case that the new language prohibits the use of tax increment for improvements at Middleton Municipal Airport.
Do you know what page of the,
It's
Oh, it's
21.
172 of the packet is what I see.
Yeah, the way that it's written now, it says airport improvements consistent with approved master plan, comprehensive plan, comma, including, I don't have it in front of me, but stormwater management improvements and sustainability. It's not exact, but it's close. Oh, there we go. So previously, you're correct. It did say, I pulled up the document and it did say airport improvements consistent with approved master plan, including runway reconstruction, taxiway reconstruction, and stormwater management improvements. So that was a request to Plan Commission to change the language. So I don't have the airport master plan. I don't know what the projects are that are in that airport master plan. But if anything that's in that plan would be eligible, TIF eligible.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, when I get into that plan, the plan does have, for example, developing alternative runways, and alternative runway plans. So for example, making of a different north-south runway or expanding an east-west runway or future hangar development. So those types of things are in the master plan. I guess my concern about removing that language is just how it would apply to, say, the airport currently, which master plan really isn't designed to address. So we're talking about, say, having to rehabilitate the current runway as it is, the current taxiways as they are, current movement areas as they are, the ramp as it is, things like that. Or if we want to deviate from the master plan, for example, put some hangars in where the master plan doesn't show there's hangars, but we know that the airport has space that could be utilized. And then to do so, we would have to build infrastructure, say where the hangar is, or to get to the hangar, or to create movement areas to and from the hangar, things like that. So the master plan isn't necessarily all inclusive in that because it was completed in 2018 and things change.
If I may respond to that, if the airport commission and the council decide they want to conduct some projects that aren't in the airport master plan, then I think we need to do exactly what we would for a comprehensive plan or for any of our other plans, and that is amend the plan. That's the appropriate, I mean, those are the guiding documents that we're supposed to be following. So if there's a need to change the plan, it needs to be done. Regarding the taxiway and runway reconstruction, those two projects have been in the city's capital improvement program for at least 4 years since I was on the airport commission. So, and on top of that, the city only, or the airport enterprise fund only is responsible for 5% of the cost of that. And so the reason I brought this up at the plan commission to change the wording is because it seems to me if we are already, and for the past 4 years have been planning to pay for this project using 5% match from the airport enterprise fund and the rest from federal and state, it doesn't seem like we should be taking money away from something like a stormwater improvement at the airport and putting it towards something we were already planning to do anyway before this TID was created. I also noted that adding a reference to the comprehensive plan and the words other sustainability improvements would get at things such as in the transportation chapter of the comprehensive plan, strategy 6 is about the airport and 6D is the city should continue to advance environmental sustainability at the airport through the use of unleaded or other alternative fuels, solar and electric where possible. The original wording didn't didn't specify the sustainability improvements, and that's why I suggested adding it. It doesn't say airport improvements consistent with the approved airport master plan and comprehensive plan limited to stormwater management and other sustainability improvements. So I would disagree with the claim made by the airport manager and others that this wording prohibits the use of funding from this new TID to pay for airport improvements.
Sure, but I guess I'm just going back to my original statement. Why remove the language? What is the harm in leaving it there? Because typically the taxiway, runway, and movement areas might have a lifespan at a maximum of 20 years. And so if the TID goes beyond 20 years, there's opportunity. I mean, we just don't know what the future has in store. So why are we limiting ourselves when leaving the language in hurts nothing? It's just there. So why would we? And I think the other thing to the master plan's created at the request of the BOA and FAA. It's just, they ask airports create one every 20 years. So they can do their planning from a budgetary standpoint. It's not necessarily our playbook. It's that they want it so they can look at it and say, what could potentially be done in Middleton over the next period of time? And that's where our plan was used out of context as a truly a misinformation campaign manual. It's just that. It's a budgetary document.
It's my understanding, and please don't direct your comments to Jeff because he can't, he's just the messenger.
I'm not directing
yeah,
it to Jeff.
But
Just
if we
stay
don't
with
have it in the airport master plan, my understanding is we can't petition the BOA to pay the 95% that we need them to pay for any improvements of significant cost. I could be wrong, but that's what our petitions every year indicate, that these are in the master plan. So if we pay for it just out of TID money and it's not in the master plan, I think that would be a problem. I feel very strongly that this is a tempest in a teapot because the wording that's in there now adds sustainability improvements, which weren't in there before, specifically references the comprehensive plan. And I understand that everything in this document needs to be consistent with our comprehensive plan. It references the approved airport master plan. Stormwater management is something that is needed at the airport, and we don't get a 95% subsidy from anybody to pay for our stormwater improvements. So it's up to the council to decide how to, whether to accept it as is or to change it. But I would ask if anything does change that those sustainability measures be preserved. Alder Nelson. You had your hand raised.
I don't know. You know, I'm like the weakest when it comes to this stuff, but is it confirmed that if we put the airport back into the TID, that we do not get 95% federal money toward a project? And like
The airport is in the TID. In fact, we specifically created a certified survey map to carve out what is now, I think it's parcel number 1 in the list, which also happens to be, it's that purple at the top.
Yeah, I see that.
That's a new parcel that was created specifically so that the airport, without including the entire airport, because it would have been too much land, correct?
I can explain that. Originally, we looked at including the entire airport because it would not be considered blighted. It put our percentage under 50%.
That was my next question. Is it screwed
Correct,
up
because
that
it's by
equation?
land area. So we had that discussion at, I think, a plan commission work session, or maybe it's a council work session before the project even started. So what we decided to do was create that CSM, which came to council, I think, last week. And it provided an opportunity to still get up to that area, which seemed to have the most opportunity for stormwater improvements and potential, I think, hangars. I don't want to speak out of turn, but in that Site 1, it also includes the main hangar, so if there's any improvements or the main facility, the FBO. And then we included the half mile includes, most of the rest of the airport. So you could still have projects be eligible potentially, but not include the entire airport in the boundary.
So by including it in the half-mile radius, does that half-mile preclude us from that 95%? Am I
No,
misunderstanding?
the airport's in TID 3 now, and I don't think it's ever precluded you from federal funding.
That would just be the source of local match if it was a policy decision from the council.
Can you say that again?
That would just be the source of the city's local match, to match what we are required to pay for the FAA and BOA dollars. It would just be the venue, if you will, of where the money would be coming from. But that would be a policy decision the council would need to make.
Right, so if you look at our budgets, if you look at our capital budget each year, it'll say for the airport projects, which also say non-TIF. I'm not sure why they say that, but the total cost is divided into grants and the Airport Enterprise Fund. And the Airport Enterprise Fund pays only 5%, which assurance number 22, I think, in our assurances says we are obligated to make the airport as financially self-sustaining as possible. And we don't have a 95% match for stormwater improvements. That's why I think it's important to keep this focused on stormwater if we can. Yes, Alder Opitz.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I went back and listened to the Plan Commission meeting and from the July 28th. And I think the concern that we're hearing in the community and from the letters that we got is that there was a comment made at the Plan Commission about restricting or limiting TIF to only stormwater management and sustainability improvements. But the result of the change that's before us simply adds them as eligible. So my question of the mayor, since you're a representative on the Plan Commission, I'm sorry, you're not the representative, you chair the Plan Commission, Alder Schaefer is the representative, but since you were at that meeting and advocated for this, was your intent, is the result in the project plan number 8, where it says airport improvements consistent with the approved airport master plan, comprehensive plan, including stormwater management, other sustainability improvements, is this change reflective of your intent at that meeting?
Yes. And I voted for it, as did everybody else on the Plan Commission.
So the comment at the meeting was the intent to restrict or limit TIF to only stormwater and sustainability, but that's not how this reads. So I just wanted to clarify that. I think I'm making your point, which is your intent is to also make stormwater management and sustainability improvements specifically eligible, but not to preclude potential use of TIF for other projects that are in the approved master plan.
Yes, although I will add that when it comes to the very near future reconstruction of the taxiway and the runway, I don't see a reason why we would use TID for that, since we already have been planning to do it for the past 4 years.
But this project plan doesn't limit that, which was the
Correct.
language that was used at the Plan Commission. So, okay, that was my question. I just thought it would.
Alder Schaefer.
Yeah, if I could just comment, because I am the rep, and that was my thought too, that this was not meant to be restricted. It was to add these on. But it seemed that the language, as you said about the runways, was that it simply seemed extraneous, since that wasn't really something that we would probably normally be doing with TIF. But the motion, we had some of this discussion, but the motion was never meant to be restrictive. It was meant to be additional. That's my understanding. And that's why I voted for it at the time, because it wasn't precluding. I mean, maybe there's another component here that I don't get at all, but we were just talking way earlier that you've got this half-mile boundary, and at some point if a project comes back, we can amend this whole thing and add a project to this TIF. And since the wording is, as I remember we voted, did not restrict it, we could not do it for that. The potential to do anything with the runways is a potential, just like any other half-mile radius, new project.
And
amend the TIF district.
thank you, Alder Schaefer. And for the benefit of council members who aren't on Plan Commission, our motions are exact. So the wording you see was was gone over.
Many
We
times.
didn't, sometimes we get a motion and people say, okay, I understood it to be this. I mean, in Plan Commission, we are exact. And so it's not like we discuss, well, what are we thinking of doing? How do we want to limit this? That's not how it was. This was the wording that was approved. So.
Yeah.
Alder Nelson, and then, actually, I'll go to Alder Crow first because he hasn't spoken yet, then Alder Myers, then Nelson, then Opitz.
Yeah, and I guess, and this is directed towards you, Jeff, as well as Attorney Fleming. How specific do we need to be on our language for that half-mile radius? I mean, is the language saying if it's in the airport master plan, that's fine? Or does it have to be something very specific that we want potentially future money for changing to unleaded fuel or doing maintenance to the runways? Does it have to be very specific, or does that language cover?
Yeah, we.
I mean, to me, the only question really becomes how specific, are there ambiguities in the airport master plan about what it's talking about? And I don't know, what's in everybody's mind about what might be done and what is actually in the airport master plan. But I mean, generally, I think reference to the airport master plan is specific enough, provided there's sufficient specificity
Language there.
in the airport master plan.
Okay.
Alder Myers?
So I'm going to be really boring and invite my colleagues to pull up or Brian, could you pull up the airport master plan, specifically page 326 of the document and 3-27, section 3.3.7, runway strength and pavement condition. As you all know, there is nothing I love more than a Pacer rating. Sorry, this might take a little bit, but I do want to wait before proceeding, just so we all have it in front of us, so I'm not reading 3 paragraphs of information.
And it's germane to the question of
It
the
is-
wording and.
It is highly germane to the
Okay.
question, because the question is, does the wording, which says consistent with the master plan, preclude spending money on runway rehabilitation? The answer is that the wording does not, because as you can see in front of you, maintaining pavement condition.
I'm sorry, can you click on there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I think if you.
There we go.
So as you can all see in front of you, the maintenance, bottom of 26 and then through 27. We have very clearly defined specifications for maintaining the pavement in the airport master plan. So any use of funds in this TIF district for improvements consistent with this maintenance schedule, which does have some very flexible language in it, would be permissible under the existing wording.
Could you say that again? Just say your last.
Okay, the TLDR, it is too long, didn't read. It's consistent with the master plan to use the TIF funds in this wording. And the pages here outline the runway conditions that would require either repair or reconstruction.
326, okay, thank you for that, Alder Myers. Alder Nelson and then Alder Opitz.
I was going to ask Alder Lorman, do these discussions sound like they will appease the folks who have written us before tonight?
I saw that Mr. Maury did have some comments, and I mean, if he's permitted as the airport manager, if you had anything that would be germane to this conversation technically, do you? Or no? It's up to the mayor.
think
I
we
mean,
have
he's
spent-
he's the airport manager, so.
Right, and he also lobbied the tenants to contact council, so that's, and I'm sorry, I heard the comment made at the airport commission meeting that the plan commission changed the project plan to eliminate funding for airport improvements. And I, at the time, thought I should send a message to the members of the airport commission to clarify that that is not what happened. And I regret that I have been so busy, I didn't have a chance to do that. Mr. Maury, you may have a few minutes to say what you wish to say. But specifically, please answer the question that Alder Nelson posed about does the current, well, the wording you can't see, but airport improvements consistent with the approved airport master plan and comprehensive plan, including stormwater management and other sustainability improvements. That doesn't pass muster, or does it?
Well, I don't want to speak for everyone. I can only speak for myself. I do know that seeing and not having all of the data, the removal of areas where in the future there may be a shortfall and we may require additional funding, that was concerning. Now, looking at it, the verbiage now, anything that's in the master plan, and I'd like to see that added to our project list, but that's just my opinion on the subject. That certainly reassures me that this is, that this was not, I don't know how to put this.
Exclusionism.
Exclusion, exactly. That yes, and certainly what we're looking at now is already funded, and we're going to be fine with that reconstruction. But as an airport manager, my job primarily is keeping our pavement in good shape, keeping the grass cut, keeping the snow plowed. And looking down the road, I saw that removal as problematic. I am somewhat reassured by the whole project now. And also in a secondary, if anyone has it on the commission, or excuse me, any of the alders have any questions about federal, state funding, what's eligible, what isn't, what's 5%, what's 10%, what's 50%, please contact me. I'm happy to talk with you all and try to explain to the best of my ability what is actually available. For instance, if a lot of airports do have a stormwater program, I don't believe that's in our master plan precisely, but if, for instance, an airport needs that, if that's an approved project, yes, you could have federal and state funding to supplement the city's share.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Moore. I
you.
appreciate your comments and all you do to keep the airport functioning. And I actually will take you up on the offer to maybe come and talk to council, either at a council meeting or a committee of the whole meeting, to give that overview that you offered.
That would be very good, and it might be useful to have a state representative there from BOA to really get the details down.
That would be great. I see Brian
I
taking it up.
welcome that.
Thank you. Alder Myers.
Just because I have it up on my screen looking on 327, there's probably enough in the master plan already that stormwater management would conceivably be within the approved airport master plan as well. So.
Thank you. All right, so we've discussed this quite a bit. Jeff's back. Kim, Alder Madden.
Just one quick question. Is there anything wrong with going ahead and putting those runway reconstruction, taxiway reconstruction back into the language, other than it just being repetitive and a little hyper verbose? I mean, at the risk of, I don't want to minimize the discussion, but I understand that, yes, this is in the airport master plan, but it sounds to me like we have stakeholders that are concerned about the removal. And if adding some language in that just reinforces that those things are okay, I don't think that necessarily changes the agreement or the request, but it might reassure some of the people that wrote to us. Doesn't substantially change it, but it does give an optic that says, hey, we listened to you. Yes, these things are included, and be reassured that it's in the master plan and in the funding proposal.
Is that a motion?
We're not there yet.
Okay.
We're still on the presentation.
Doesn't feel like it though, does it?
Doesn't. Saves us time later.
And then I guess I would have just one final question, Jeff, is not in our master plan at all is really and this plays to the sustainability element of it. The landscape has changed a lot in aviation, moving to alternative fuels that are going to be more environmentally sustaining, plus what's called advanced air mobility. Basically electric aircraft, vertical takeoff and landing that are going to be used for a variety of things to replace potentially some other aspects of aviation in the future. And that will give us opportunities for infrastructure development. Could be electric charging systems. It could be defining and creating areas called vertiports and things like that. And that's not in the master plan.
We have a other capital projects, sort of a catch-all for those types of projects. So one is sustainability or sustainable features, renewable energy systems for public infrastructure.
Mhm.
I think that could probably fit into that.
Okay.
If you wanted to add something more specific in the future, you could always amend the plan. Those don't count towards your territory amendments. As long as you don't, you can amend the projects anytime. But there is a process.
And on that point, I'll just reiterate that T6D from the comprehensive plan says the city should continue to advance environmental sustainability at the airport through the use of unleaded and other alternative fuels, solar and electric where possible. And so that's the reason why sustainability improvements were specifically called out.
Yep.
Yes, Jeff.
Could I add one more thing just to the discussion?
Sure.
Reviewing I know I don't want to, but I have to. It's better to say it now than later. Reviewing the projects for TID 7, the map, both airport improvements and number 7. So that was number 8 and number 7, Pheasant Branch Creek and bicycle pedestrian path improvements. Those have an asterisk on the map for half mile. The text does not have an asterisk on it, so I should add an asterisk to the text. I just want to make sure that I said that publicly in case, so you're aware of it before it goes to the GRB,
Okay,
just for consistency.
thank you for that. Okay, any further questions or discussion? Would anyone care to move to bring items 1 and 2 under resolutions up for consideration at this time, since just read?
Actually, Madam Mayor, I'd like to move to bring under ordinances, item 2, ordinance to amend section 1.06 relating to parliamentary rules for consideration.
Interesting.
Is there any objection to doing that? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we will bump up first reading of the ordinance to amend section 1.06 relating to parliamentary rules. Is there a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move to suspend the rules under section 1.07.
We have a motion to suspend.
Madden will second.
We have a second. All those in favor of suspending the rules to go straight to the second reading of the ordinance to amend section 1.06 relating to parliamentary rules signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Is there a motion on this ordinance?
Myers, I move approval of ordinance to amend section 1.06 relating to parliamentary rules.
Madden will second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Do we need to bring this up? Probably not.
There is one spelling change, and the other change is what we discussed as being an oddity of our rules as a body during our last committee of the whole meeting on Robert's Rules of Order.
What was the spelling change?
Parliamentary is now spelled correctly.
Oh, that's good. May I ask, did the L&O committee consider changing citizens present to members of the public present?
We did not.
It says no citizen or other person as it is now. So the effect of changing it doesn't seem like there would be as an impact, but wordsmithing is fine.
I just have been trying to move away from citizen because it's sort of exclusionary. It could just say no person shall address the common council except during that part, and then change citizens to members of the public. If anybody would like to make that motion.
I'll make that motion to amend the comments from citizens present to read comments from the public, or comments from residents is another way, maybe.
I would say from the public,
Comments from the public.
I will second that motion.
and we also have to take out the citizen or other.
No person shall address the.
Fine. So the
Citizen
motion is
or-
no person shall address the common council except during the part of the agenda entitled comments from the public. That's my motion, the amendment.
And
And
that's certainly what I second.
Schaefer seconds. Very presciently seconded that. All right, any discussion of that? All right, all those in favor of the amended language to say no person shall address and comments from members of the public present signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Now back to the main motion, which is to approve the language or the new wording for section 1.06 relating to parliamentary rules as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And before you do that, this is the second reading, so it'll go into effect. I should have
And
said that.
also before we do that, the record should reflect that Alder Madden and I both consented to that amendment.
Okay. Yes.
You know, next time you get to.
All right. All those in favor of approving the ordinance to amend section 1.06 relating to parliamentary rules as amended signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
And Madam Mayor, may I make
Now-
a comment regarding this item? You said before it takes effect, but doesn't it take effect upon publication? Technically? I mean, the intent is that it's going to be in effect for the rest of this meeting, I assume.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yeah,
wanna make
that's the
clear.
intent, but we would have to publish it. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the intent, is it, it's effective as of now? Okay, I just wanted to.
Everyone abides by
If
that
everyone
rule and
abides
nobody
by it.
objects. It's a rule that really ultimately only members of the council
Yeah.
have the right to enforce. So as long as everyone proceeds with the spirit of that, the fact that the ordinance is not officially effective yet.
But the spirit of it is as of now.
So,
Yes.
so said our attorney. It's on the record. Okay, now would anybody, would anybody, for the sake of, poor Jeff, would anybody like to move to bring the resolutions forward? Or are we content waiting?
Myers, I'll move to bring the resolutions forward, specifically resolutions 1 and 2.
All right, is there a second?
Open seconds.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor of moving items 1 and 2 under resolutions up to discussion right now signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Now we'll go to Resolution 2026-32, recommending adoption of Tax Increment Finance District Number 7 Project Plan. Is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-32, restoring language from the, including language from the planning commission meeting of July 28th to add runway and taxiway improvements back into the language, also including the language that's already there for sustainability and water resource management, keeping that as well.
Madden will second.
Okay, and for the record, that's why I commented that the plan commission goes exactly with the wording. So if I understand the intent of the moved and seconded motion, it is to approve resolution 2026-32, recommending adoption of tax increment finance district number 7 project plan, including, may I say, restoring language regarding the runway and taxi improvements to paragraph number 8 on page.
Section
21 of the
5,
plan.
Madam Mayor?
B8.
So if, just point of information, so that change as proposed and seconded would read that section 8 that you're referring to would be if the amendment was approved, airport improvements consistent with the approved airport master plan and comprehensive plan, comma, including the new addition, runway and taxiway improvements, comma, stormwater management and other sustainability improvements.
Okay. And we can't get that on the screen, but I think everybody heard it. Is that Alder Lorman and Madden, does that capture?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And council members, do you understand it? Does anybody need to see it? If not,
I guess,
discussion. Okay.
yeah,
Alder Opitz.
I had typed this up at home and then I forgot to print out that page. So was there anything else in that list in plan commission that is not included in Alder Lorman's motion? That was my question. And I'm trying to get the plan commission.
The original said airport improvements consistent with the approved master plan, period, including runway reconstruction, taxiway reconstruction, and stormwater management improvements.
Okay, thank you.
Is there
Alder
anything in
Nelson.
this new wording that is against what you guys think you put together in the planning commission?
No, I state again that this was a bit of a tempest in a teapot because the change we made, I feel improved paragraph number 8 by adding the sustainability improvements that are in our comprehensive plan, and also underscored stormwater. The runway reconstruction and taxiway reconstruction that is coming up in the near future is not going to have this funding available. There actually is probably not going to be any increment available at the time. But if, as Alder Madden indicated, restoring these 2 reconstruction references to the project plan, if that's going to provide comfort and reassurance to the folks who commented to us, that's fine with me. I would just hope that it would be made clear through communication from someone that actually it would have been included. I'm getting a nod from Mr. Maureen. I appreciate that. Alder Schaefer.
Yeah, just as the council rep, I agree completely with the mayor. And the intent was never to remove that. It was to just clarify and simplify some of the wording, but to add the other things. So I'm comfortable with putting it back in. It's redundant, but it doesn't hurt to clarify.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. I have a question for Jeff. Couple questions, actually. First one is, you mentioned a couple times for both this one and TID 8 that parcels will be removed from 5 and put into the new ones. Does that mean we have to do a boundary change for TID 5?
No.
Okay, that's good. And then what is the last, is this the final council action creating the TID?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask, because I just wanted to say, this is a very serious and special moment for everybody, because we are creating, if we think back, I can tell you the date of the creation of TID number 3. I didn't know it at the time because I was busy giving birth to my oldest child, but it was September 29th of 1993 that TID 3 was created. And look at all we have thanks to that TID. My daughter is now going to be 33, right? So 33 years from now, somebody's going to be looking at the city and knowing all the improvements that were made, and it started right here. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and make sure everybody's aware how special this next vote is. All right, are we ready?
Point of order.
Yes.
Mayor, we have an amendment on the table before we vote on the main motion.
No,
There was a motion that was made and
that was
seconded.
part of the main
The
motion.
main motion included the
Oh,
revised.
okay, yeah, all right. And could you restate the motion?
Yeah,
Thank you for
Brian.
stepping on my nice.
Mayor, I'm doing the best that I can. It says so on the mug.
All right, 33 years from now, somebody will have a baby.
Now I'm not all a tingle anymore. Okay, so for this, any further discussion? All right, yes, Alder Opens.
I think Alder Myers was asking for a restatement of the motion with the amendment. Is that,
We can have it. Okay, so well, I was going to read the motion
Okay.
again.
Oh,
as-
I'm sorry.
As is
Go-
my custom. Yep,
okay.
Yep. So again, boy, I know, okay, get tingly again, folks. Be feeling special. So we're about to vote on creating a new TID in Middleton. So the motion is this: to approve resolution 2026-32, recommending adoption of tax increment finance district number 7 project plan, restoring language. Brian, read it.
Yep, restoring language under the section 8 airport improvements. It would now read airport improvements consistent with the approved airport master plan and comprehensive plan, comma, including runway restoration and taxiway restoration, comma, stormwater management and other sustainability improvements, period.
All right, that is the motion.
and that
It's-
is incorrect. I'm sorry. I don't think that's what you said.
That
Yeah.
Restoration is not the right word.
reconstruction.
Reconstruction.
I said restoration.
Yeah,
Yeah,
reconstruction.
that's why I was
thinking.
seeking clarification.
Yep.
So,
Runway reconstruction, my notes are scribbly.
Restoring the language.
Okay,
right.
are we good now? We all get it? Everybody feeling good? Thinking ahead 33 years? Okay. All those in favor
Thank you.
of, or all those who would like to vote to approve that motion
That motion.
and create TID number 7, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah, ayes have it. All right, I'm gonna clap. This is really exciting. Okay, now let's move on to resolution number 2026-33, recommending adoption of tax increment finance district number 8 project plan. Is there a motion?
This is Nelson as Alder of District 3, who will benefit a lot, including Alder Baines. We will benefit a lot from this TID. I recommend approval. I move approval.
This is Baines. I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead, Alder Crow.
Can we get a nice speech about how important this one is?
I'm gonna be 90.
Oh my gosh, I didn't think about it. Oh, now it's not special at all. I didn't think about it in those terms. Okay, yes, so we'll come back. I invite everyone in the future to come back to, not these chambers, it'll be different chambers, I hope. So we can celebrate the closure of TID number 8. But this one will be exciting because this will allow us to implement our University Avenue corridor plan, and it's going to be good. All right,
I'll be 100 then, so that'll be.
okay, that's good. Your grandchildren.
I'm sure it's handicap
Your
accessible.
grandchildren can come. Okay, then all those in favor of approving resolution 2026-33, recommending adoption of tax increment finance district number 8 project plan and thereby creating TID number 8, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. And let's clap for TID 8. The small younger sister of TID 7. Okay, I'm going to ask that we approve the consent agenda and then we'll take a break, if that's all right. So does anybody have, want to request removal of any items from the consent agenda for discussion?
Yes,
Okay, Alder,
yes, thank you. We need to remove item number 5.
item number 5. Any others? Okay, then is there a motion to approve items 1 through 4 and 6 on the consent agenda?
This is Alder Crowe. I'll make that motion.
All right, is there a second?
Madden will second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving 1 through 4 and 6 on the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving to item number 5, agreement with Dane County to add level 2 public charging to 7428 Terrace Avenue parking lot as part of the Charge Up Dane County grant. Is there a motion?
Yes, this is Madden. I will move approval of the agreement with Dane County to add level 2 public charging to 7428 Terrace Avenue parking lot as part of Charge Up Dane County grant pending city attorney approval.
All right, is there a second?
Schaefer will second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with Dane County to add level 2 public charging to 7428 Terrace Avenue parking lot as part of the Charge Up Dane County grant pending city attorney approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We will take a 10-minute break. And when we come back, we'll go, we get to talk about the community campus plan. So please be back at 8:41. 1 minute.
Nine.
All right, it is now 8:41. We are all back, so we will resume this meeting. The next item on our agenda is miscellaneous update, discussion, and possible action on community campus project. Request for proposal for project manager / project management services, i.e. owner's representative / construction management services. This comes to us from the Library Board of Trustees and the Commission on Aging. Is there, well, I think we'll get an update first from our city administrator, and then there is possible action.
Yeah, sure. So the two things, just to update the group on. One, the document that's in front of you for action tonight is the first, and as I mentioned, a series of RFPs that we'll be doing for this project. This first one is for a project manager. The reason why we've got the different phrases or language in there is because across the municipal construction field, there isn't like a common definition. So we're inclusive of project manager, construction manager, owner's representative, because I've seen different RFPs that have used different combinations of language. So we're just being all inclusive so that those responding to the RFP understand what we're asking for and what we're looking for from a scope of service standpoint. But the purpose of this RFP is to have a professional or firm assist the city with kind of managing the project from selection of architect all the way through project closeout and occupancy of the building. So there are firms out there that help cities, because this is not something that cities do on the regular in terms of buildings, particularly when you're talking scope and scale, the size that we in other communities have done in Dane County. They look to hire a professional to assist them with the project to make sure things are done on time, that there's value engineering done, and all of those things on more of a technical standpoint. So this will be the first RFP. This will go out beginning part of next month. And then we'll get to the point where we select an individual or firm to assist with that work. The next RFP that will be forthcoming in the coming probably weeks, maybe months or so, would be a separate RFP for architectural and engineering services. So that's your standard building design that we've been talking about. And the project manager will assist in providing kind of some technical expertise as we go through the process of selecting that firm or engineering firm and architecture firm to assist us. In addition, beyond this RFP work that we're doing, we are taking tours of other similarly completed or recently completed municipal projects in Dane County. We were just in Village of Oregon last week, taking a look at their new library building that they completed in the last couple of years. We'll be going to the Village of Windsor next week to take a look at their new municipal building, and then we'll be in Sun Prairie to look at their new library building later, beginning part of September, middle part of September. So we also are going to these communities to ask them, the benefit of their experience, but if they learned, what questions did they have that they got answered through the process, so we can learn that now. What sort of forms did they use? We've gotten copies of all their RFPs and documents, and so we've used that to inform the information that's in front of you. So just a way of kind of gaining knowledge from those that have been down this path in the not too distant future, or not too distant past from us. So that's what we've been doing in the last couple of weeks.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes, Alder Myers.
Yeah, before we kick off into the really substantive parts of this, I just have a question regarding 8.9 contact and communications, specifically the anti-lobbying clause. And this is a question for our city attorney, Matt. Is it your opinion that this anti-lobbying clause would only impact a potential applicant if they intentionally contact us specifically with regard to this proposal? In other words, if we accidentally bump into one of them at a coffee shop or a grocery store or somewhere out in the community, and don't discuss this, they wouldn't have accidentally disqualified themselves.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is certainly, you have to read all these provisions in context, and it's pretty clearly contacting anyone about this subject matter. Yeah, if there's a person who provides these services and they you see them and they say hi and you talk about what your kids are doing, yeah, that is not a violation.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you.
That's a good question. So we've got the wording on the screen. So in other words, Alder Myers, if I may, what you're asking is if we were to say, or other city staff members about this RFP, instead of just leaving it complete, universal.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we all understood it to mean that, but if we want to specify that.
I understood it to mean that. I just wanted to make
Make
sure that
sure.
my understanding and our collective understanding of the document was an accurate understanding. So we didn't accidentally,
Mhm.
end up in a situation where our understanding was wrong.
Well, and I think it just needs to be understood by all of us and the staff, and our, Commission on Aging, and Library Board of Trustees members that like, don't say a thing, just don't talk. I met with, or I ran into the mayor of Sun Prairie, who was telling me how great their owner's rep was and would I like his phone number? I was like, nope, I don't, I don't want to talk to this person because if they were that great, we want them to reach out to us or, respond to this. So yeah, I'm just encouraging everybody, say nothing. All right, any further questions or would anybody care to make a motion? I hope everyone had a chance to read through the RFP. I will note that the date on the RFP, on the first page, it says RFP issue date, September 2nd. If the council approves it tonight, we would be able to issue it sooner. I think Alder Crowe had his hand raised.
Yeah, I was gonna make a motion to approve the request for proposals for the owner's representative / construction management services for the community campus, Middleton Community Campus.
And I'd like to second, this is Nelson.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the request for proposal for project manager, well, I'll read this, for owner's representative construction management services for the Middleton Community Campus. Discussion. I would go to Alder Crowe first if you'd like, since he's the maker of the motion.
And I don't really have a whole lot. I mean, we discussed this at library board too, so
Okay,
I think it, as we went through it, we like the language in it too, so.
okay. Then Alder Myers.
Yeah, under section 5.3 budget sequencing, strategies for maintaining the 100 million total project budget across all phases. I'd request an amendment, and strategies for not exceeding the $100 million budget instead of maintaining.
Is that your,
Strategies for not exceeding.
that's a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to change 5.3 budget sequencing to read strategies for not exceeding the $100 million total project budget. Any discussion of that? All right.
Just for the recording, that was Opitz who seconded.
Yep, I got that.
I didn't know.
I got that. So I would have liked to have had a motion to approve the whole thing and then amend it. But we'll go ahead and we'll make this amendment to the draft RFP. So all those in favor of amending 5.3?
This, we do have a
Oh,
motion.
wait.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
we do.
yeah.
You're right.
That's right.
You're right. It's been a long night. Sorry. Okay, so all those in favor of amending the language in 5.3 to say instead of maintaining the $100 million for not exceeding the $100 million total project budget, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right, any other amendments requested? All right, hearing none. All those in favor And again, just to clarify, September 2 is the date in here, but that we'll issue this as soon as we, well, let's,
It won't be tomorrow because.
no, yeah.
But perhaps early next week we can.
Yep, yeah. Okay, so all those in favor of approving the draft, I'm sorry, the RFP for owner's representative / construction management services for the Middleton Community Campus with the amendment to 5.3, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
The ayes have it. All right, moving on to ordinances. First reading, we have one. Ordinance to establish event parking restrictions.
Mrs. Madden, I move to suspend the rules.
Myers second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to suspend the rules. All those in favor of suspending the rules and going straight to the second reading signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Is there a motion to approve ordinance to establish event parking restrictions?
Mrs. Madden, I move approval of the ordinance to amend section 1.06 relating, in order to, it's event parking restrictions.
Thank you. Is there a
Sorry, it's getting
second?
late for me too.
Thorman will second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of approving ordinance to establish event parking restrictions, this is the second reading. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to resolutions, we have two left. Number 3 is resolution 2026-34, dedicating a public utility easement on city property along Century Avenue for relocation of utilities for Century Avenue Bridge reconstruction.
Myers move approval of resolution 2026-34, dedicating a public utility easement on city property along Century Avenue for relocation of utilities for Century Avenue Bridge reconstruction 21-111.
Mrs. Madden, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving resolution 2026-34, dedicating a public utility easement on city property along Century Avenue for relocation of utilities for Century Avenue Bridge reconstruction, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to item 4, resolution 2026-35, approving relocation order in the city of Middleton, Dane County, Wisconsin.
This is Myers. I'll move approval of resolution 2026-35, approving relocation order in the city of Middleton, Dane County, Wisconsin.
Is there a second?
Madden will second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I have a question. What is this for?
This is for some, well, it's for High Road. If you look at the,
Matt, could you speak into the mic, please?
yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
There's various places along High Road for the reconstruction project rather, where we need to acquire some additional right of way. I think there's maybe some temporary easements in here as well. The interests of property identified on the map. At the end, it's attached as Exhibit A to the relocation order. Yeah, there's some permanent limited easement and some temporary limited easement, as well as a little bit of fee interest.
Okay, and does this involve taking any property or are we,
It does.
okay,
I think the main,
we add-
and Ben is probably more familiar with the specific takings. I think the main acquisition of fee is occurring, I'm not seeing the parcel that I have in mind here, in one spot where we need to widen the right of way.
is it the parcel owned by, or that's in well, no, we can't take that. The one in the town of Springfield?
We can acquire property extraterritorially.
Okay.
I don't think that is in the town of Springfield, but
No, it's just on the city of Middleton side of the border if it's the sewer easement area.
I just would like, before council votes on this, I'd just like to know whose property. My apologies for not being able to read the to definitively identify which properties we were talking about. I thought there'd be like a list.
There is, if you look, the exhibit is kind of styled much like a transportation project plan. So there's a little table up in the upper left-hand corner that says schedule of lands and interests required. So, yeah, it's up, yeah,
It's at
upper
the
right-hand
page.
corner of the first
Yeah.
page of the map
Which
exhibit.
map has that on?
Yep.
Although I'm not.
Okay, and have we tried to work with these landowners before going to this step?
Well, for highway acquisitions like this, we really do need to give them all their pamphlets and rights and go through the process. The eminent domain process requires that we negotiate with them.
Sure.
Um,
I'm just wondering.
I don't know what other communications there have been, but, I just do want to make sure though that we have all of the interests. Oh, here, there is another schedule of lands.
Yeah, it's further down.
Yeah,
So it looks like 3 parcels.
But I,
Well, there's one on each map.
Oh, each
this-
map.
For the section
Oh, so they're more.
that it's showing.
This basically, I'm sorry.
Yes, please wait until we can. I just want to know whose land we're going to, the council is going to vote to acquire. And in keeping with being a good neighbor, I just want to make sure that we've done what we can to try to acquire it directly without going this route, Alder Opitz.
And I think building on what Attorney Fleming said, this basically triggers the process, the formal process that has to be followed. I think what would be helpful in the future is to have this resolution mimic what we had in the previous item where we identified the Central Avenue Bridge and specifically identify the project that this goes with in the resolution title. That would be helpful in the future. I think that's
another
yeah.
improvement.
So approving relocation order in the city of, pertaining to the High Road reconstruction project in the city of Middleton, I think if we could have that specificity in future titles, that would be helpful.
Did we go this route for Parmenter Street reconstruction? I don't recall voting on a relocation order for
I
that.
think we ultimately decided not to acquire property because much of what had to be acquired was necessitated for bicycle, so we redid the plan, so we did not require acquisitions. This is, this certainly is how we proceeded with Pleasant View Road and
Mhm.
it's pretty typical, especially when you got numerous property owners. Under those circumstances, you really can't just go and talk to them and try to negotiate outside of the process. The voluntary negotiations really have to be within the process because you have rights that attach by the process going on. If you have purchased outside of that, numbers of them, I mean, if you're dealing with one single property owner in certain circumstances, I mean, you can do it. But for a large project like this, it's not feasible to try to do acquisitions outside the condemnation process.
Okay. So there are how many parcels in all?
So let's see, it's 1, 2, 3 on that sheet.
Here
There are
comes
7 total parcels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then one more.
I count 8.
Right.
I count 8 too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. There are.
All right.
Actually, I
Thank
count
you.
9.
What was that, Alder
Count
Crump?
9.
You count 9?
I count 9.
Yep, I see 9 now too. There's one on the fourth sheet.
Okay. In the future, I think it'd be really helpful to have a concise list of, Exhibit A could be like, here are the parcels.
There are only 7 scheduled though.
All right, is there any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving resolution 2026-35, approving relocation order in the city of Middleton, Dane County, Wisconsin, and this is pertaining to the High Road Reconstruction Project, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right, moving on.
Would it be in order to ask that that tagline be added to that resolution? Is that appropriate? Since you just read it that way? Pertaining to the High Road project is what you just said.
Parliamentarian.
I think we can add that to the title. I mean, that is the subject.
Okay, it can
Just
be
to-
added.
yeah.
Without objection, so ordered.
Well, that's how you read it, and I
Yeah,
just wanted to.
I was just clarifying for,
Yeah.
my role as chair is to make sure everybody understands what we're voting on, so, yeah. Okay, moving on to discussion, updates on committees, commissions, and boards by council members and the mayor. Do we have any? I see two hesitant hands, first Alder Myers and then Alder Opitz.
Okay, so just to provide one update on Public Works, we referred our budget to the Finance and Personnel Committee during our last meeting. However, there is one additional item that we may refer separately to the Finance and Personnel Committee because it was not ready in time to be considered, pertaining to sidewalk repair. Also, the Airport Commission will be discussing ways to better market to our temporary visitors, businesses in the city of Middleton.
Great. Alder Opitz.
Thank you. I simply wanted to report that we had over 200 comments come in with the active transportation plan, the survey, as I understand it from our city planner. So our staff are going through that now, and they plan to bring that public input to the PEDBAC Transit meeting, which will be the second Thursday of September, not the first because of the holiday weekend. And that's the main thing I wanted to say. I also wanted to flag the email that you received from our city administrator regarding Century Avenue communication. I'm grateful, and I think I share this with my colleagues, Lorman and Nelson and Baines. There's several of us in Myers to the west. There are 5 of us in the Century Avenue corridor that are going to be getting a lot of constituent contact as that bridge gets replaced. And I appreciate the efforts by our staff to begin a proactive communication and to be a resource for us as we communicate with our constituents. So I just wanted to thank them for that. And the last item I had is I had asked him to send out an email to see if any of you want to join a team for the Chamber of Commerce Sportoberfest. And I think Alder Madden said she was interested. I know, I don't know if anybody else, if you are interested, please let me know in the next couple of days. I would love to have a city team. Diego is also interested in participating, and that would be a lot of fun. So that's more incentive. So is anyone else interested?
I thought is maybe coming as a, what do they call it? Like a spectator, member or something, because I would probably hold the team back.
Oh, the point is to have fun and to network. It's not to, it's a friendly competition. So we'd love to have you join us.
What is the date again?
I think I wrote it. I think it was the 24th. I'm sorry, I don't have the date handy. It was in the
That's
email
okay.
you received. I just didn't hear any other takers other than Alder Madden.
All right.
So wanted to nudge you.
It's the 22nd.
22nd, thank you.
October 22nd.
No, it's September.
September.
Yeah, I had to miss part of Sustainability Committee, but they did decide after great anguish that we will be in the parade. We had most of our members who were out of town or something got bad legs or knees. And I was concerned that we wouldn't have a single walking member. And so maybe we would cancel the sustainability presence. We're going ahead with it. And we need walkers. So if anybody wants to walk in a parade, talk to Kelly. I'm sure she'll give you a nice T-shirt with sustainability and everything. And so.
Thank you. Alder Baines.
Yeah, on the Conservancy Lands Committee, we approved a design alternative for the trailhead. That's Pheasant Branch Conservancy on Century Avenue. So, or we approved one to recommend. The architect provided us with two alternatives, and we picked one of them that we feel will be better for the community.
Great.
Just
Back to Alder.
one last afterthought. I might have mentioned it last time, but we've got these nice little placards outside on all the plants with all the Wisconsin native plants identifying. So when you go in front of City Hall, take a moment to look and read some of those plaques.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'll just mention, so the Good Neighbor Festival is, are there any alders who plan to march as a group? Because I will not be riding in a car. I'm going to be walking and my husband is joining me. So Alder Nelson will be there.
When is that?
September
The
30th.
last Sunday of
Where do you live?
August.
I think you're going to have to
August
leave.
30th.
It is the last Sunday, the 30th.
Okay.
Yes, and it's right after the mayor's breakfast, which I thank you all for RSVPing. It's, you'll have time after that to go home and freshen up and get
Do
ready
whatever
and
anyone
get out to the start of the parade. And I would like to walk with my colleagues if that's
Okay,
possible.
yeah, I have the mayor's breakfast on
Okay,
my calendar.
wear your walking shoes.
Okay.
Is anybody else going to walk? You're driving?
I have artificial knees, so I'm gonna be in the car.
Oh, okay, all right.
If you're walking next to the library's bookmobile, I'll walk with you.
Are they in the front?
I don't know what the position is where the
Maybe-
bookmobile, because
maybe-
I'll be with the bookmobile.
Maybe
The parade chairperson needs to still arrange the parade.
keep that in mind. Bookmobile near
I'll
the
let him
council.
know.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm considering it, but I have kids, so.
Bring the
More the merrier.
kids.
Bring the
Yeah.
kids.
Oh, if I'm in it, I will, but they may change my ability to march in it
I
at the
see.
last minute, as small children can sometimes do.
All right.
They run very fast.
We're very flexible. Alder
Traditionally-
Lorman?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, why not?
I think it's, the whole notion of like trying to get the word out that council members are a resource to people. We don't just impose taxes on them. We actually are here and, want them to know who we are. I think it's a good opportunity. So if anybody's interested, that would be great.
Hand out assessment flyers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we might not want to walk.
Yeah,
this
no
year.
tomatoes, no
Let's
tomatoes
not.
allowed. Well, and that's another thing that I was going to mention, that, that you saw the message that Brian, sent out about the assessments. I knew they had arrived when I got my first message saying, I didn't even see mine until I saw the message and I was like, okay. But I had asked Brent and Bill and Dean to put together a tax estimate, what do we call it? The illustrative tax estimator. It's an idea that Appleton got from Janesville and I thought it worked for them. So let's try it with us. And I will just note that the first person to contact us, when I plugged in the numbers, it actually showed a decrease in what the taxes would have been a year ago had that new assessment been in place. So I think in that one instance, at least, it was very illustrative. And so I encourage any property owners on the council to go test it out and see what the change would have been. I myself was a little disappointed to see what my increase would have been, but it was half what it might have been, right? So there we go. All right, that's it. Now we need a motion to go into closed.
Can,
Oh, is there still more?
yeah, I thought I would mention that well, this is an Alder Myers district, but Way Forward has their hunger action event on September 2nd, and I know that they're keen to have council members.
Yep, and we will also be considering we'll have a proclamation of Hunger Action Month, and Chamber of Commerce is going to be subject of a proclamation. So be prepared on September 2nd, or is it the first? It's the first. Be prepared on September 1st to be in a picture. We could try to wear orange all together. If everybody's got orange, that's the color for Hunger Action Month. And I'll probably ask council members to bring a donation of
Prison garb, orange, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Point of order.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, the notice for this was updates on committees, commissions, and boards by council members and mayor. Future notices should include community events.
Oh, as
Okay.
part of the title, yeah. That's okay.
All right, and Schaefer will make a motion for closed session, but I don't know if Brian has to read his spiel first.
So the motion would be to convene into closed session pursuant to section 19.851E Wisconsin statutes for deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, investing of public funds, or conducting other specific public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session. Potential agreement with the Middleton Fire Company #1 regarding Lee Street extension.
You got my motion exactly as I said it.
Myers second.
A motion and a second. Go into closed session. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Alder Schaefer,
Yes.
Alder Madden,
Yes.
Alder Baines,
Yes.
Mayor Heniro,
Yes.
Alder Nelson,
Yes.
Alder Myers,
Yes.
Alder Opitz,
Aye.
Alder Lorman,
Yes.
Alder Crow.
Yes.